So what I'll do is I'll kind of do an intro of kind of go a little bit further than Doug did about how the heck I ended up here selling custom wheels. And then I'll show you a video to kind of explain why that guy's doing that. And then I'll go into the numbers, because I'm sure you guys like numbers and where we've come from in the last 4 years. So like Doug said, I spent about 5.5 years at, I became the plant manager, was my last role there, of ARF, so the Airport Fire Rescue. I didn't like that it was union against management, so it always just was inner conflict that I couldn't get along with and go have a beer with the guys that I worked with every day. So I went on to, because they were doing the big lean initiative, and you know, they were much more people, and I really liked that. I went and did that, and I was there as a lean improvement facilitator. So I spent some time in open heart surgery. I think was my first 30 days. I spent 5 cases watching open heart surgery, which was insane because I'd never been in an OR in my life, and now I'm watching somebody have an 8-hour procedure. We did a ton of stuff. We did extubation rates by 70%. We improved them just by putting process in place and having people do flow diagrams and follow standards, because otherwise each nurse was just making it up as they went based on the patient versus using those algorithms, just like when you fly an airplane. So we did a lot of that in healthcare. By the time I was ready to exit, I was the vice president of, so I had about 600 women reporting to me, and I spent 11 hours a day in meetings, and I knew that wasn't my life. So when I pulled my team in, 2 weeks before I had left, I told them, you know, my body's covered in tattoos, I listen to Tupac, I love Bush Light, and I swear a lot. And my whole team just went, I don't get it, because I'm standing there in a tie and a nice button-up shirt, which I'll never wear again. And I said, you know, I've been being somebody else for 11 years because I was told to go to college, get a degree, and become a CEO someday by working up through the ranks. So I had this crazy idea about 4 years ago. I called my business partner then. We were playing around with a Book Chiropractors online business. That wasn't going so well, but it was a lot of fun because we were in control because we had invented it. And I said, you know, what if we could make a way where people can figure out which wheels, which sizes and tires and suspension would fit on a truck? Because I've been trying to put a lift kit and some big wheels and tires on my Chevy Avalanche for 3 months, and I have to go on these forums, and it would take about 3 months of searching to get all the specs I need and see photos to say, yeah, that will fit even though the manufacturer says it won't. I can get it to fit if I'm willing to cut this and cut that. So I said, what if we could have a gallery where you show these pictures and then every spec, and what if we put all those specs in discrete fields so that they could be searchable? And I'll show you where we're at with that. So that brings me to why I'm here. I had to convince Doug, and I had to convince my mom, and I had to convince my wife and my entire family that I'm not an insane person. Because when I left, I was, you know, making $185,000 a year. And when I started at the next morning on July 4th was my first day, Independence Day, I was making $20,000. So they were a little concerned, to say the least. I had saved up enough money to last 90 days. And I had gotten all my bills down to where I could survive on about $50,000 a year. So I knew if I totally failed, I had 90 days to go find a job making $50,000 a year. So I knew I was going to be just fine. And the CIO at the time was Keith. He says 25 years ago I should have done what you're thinking about doing. Do it. And I heard that from a couple people, so I just said the hell with it, and I did it. So one thing you're going to hear is I swear a lot because nobody can tell me not to anymore. I wear t-shirts everywhere I go and loud red shoes. I basically have taken my life back, is I guess my story. The reason he films everything is that there's a belief out there right now in social media that if you film everything, you can not only build your brand, but you can also create a personal brand where people rally behind you as a person as you build this business. Because 3 years ago when I left, I was in my garage, literally sitting next to my cousin. We were the entire business, and then my business partner, Ben, was the programmer in Madison. That was our whole business. I would take a truckload of light bars and go to a local meet at a Walmart, and I'd be peddling light bars out of the back of my truck. So from VP of to selling light bars to high schoolers in parking lots. That's what I was going to do to try to make it, and I'll show you what we did. But this will show you, my goal is to videotape my whole journey, because if it works really well, people will watch it, and it will build my personal brand, which will build my brand. If it doesn't go well, my grandkids will get to see my life story. And I met a guy, Brian Vieira, absolutely amazing dude. He taught me the difference between activity and action. Activity is running around looking like you're doing shit. Action is actually doing shit. Put your head down, work really hard, make really fast decisions with as much information as you have at that given time, but never sit and seek information so long that you never make action. Ultimately, you decide if you're gonna live or not. Am I just gonna get through life, or am I gonna live? Because it's a fucking choice. I mean, you literally decide that. And some people decide it when they're 70 and it's too late.
Definition of a champion, no.
Just another day in the life of the dream job. You know, I laugh sometimes when I call it dream job because of all the jobs in the world, this is the best one, but I'll tell you what, it ain't frickin' puppies and rainbows. Because there's so much to learn about having big enough nuts to get coached. And you know, they called it coaching in my old job and they used it totally wrong because it usually was an ass chewing. I think it should always be, you know, the quarterback talking to his receivers about, I need you to catch that fucking ball. Not everybody can stand in front of a room and just take control and get the shit done. Not everybody can look at somebody and say, you're red on this metric, what are you doing? And what they tell you is, I'm gonna do some stuff. You can't accept that. I wanna know exactly what you're doing, by when, and who's gonna have it done. And next week, if you don't do it, I'm gonna hold you accountable. It's gonna be a big fucking problem. And not a lot of people could do that. You're gonna win in life. You're gonna kick ass, you're so determined, you're so motivated, and you're gonna get right to the top of the hill. But if you keep being the way you are, you're gonna be standing there all by yourself. So that's why Fuller videotapes everything. Because then we will turn them into clips and share them with the world and hope they like us. If they don't, our grandkids will. So this is what we created. I said, hey Ben, what if anybody in the world could come out and they can show off a picture of their truck and they can tell us all of the specs in these discrete fields, and then we'll scrub it. We'll make sure that the make and model are correct. We'll make sure that all the wheel and tire information is correct so that we can ultimately create this. And I didn't have a full plan when we started. We were just gonna let people show it off. Then it started unraveling where I was able to find a partner down who said, I've been shipping wheels and tires to people's doorsteps for 15 years. I can mount and balance all your stuff for you. And it took me 6 months and about 11 propositions to get them to agree to this. But now what happens is people can buy that exact setup to make their truck look just like that for $28.96. And then my partner puts it on their doorstep within 2 weeks. And they just bolt it to the truck.
$28.96, is that a number?
$2,896, yep. So that's the package price. We have the lowest prices in the nation. It's free mount, free balance, free ship. And then I found another partner and I said, hey, you sell lift kits. How about I sell them for you and then you drop ship them and put those on their doorstep too. So then we added the lift kits. So if you want that exact truck, all you have to do is give me about $5,000 and you can have that exact truck.
If you're drop shipping all that stuff, who does the balancing?
They're mounted and balanced. All they have to do is bolt them to the truck.
They're all together already.
Yep.
They're all pre-assembled.
It coming on a skid and you're helping the semi-truck driver unload it. So that's what we started with, was just wheels and tires. When I was here last time, I was only doing wheels and tires. We were on pace to do, I just bought a Lamborghini, so we must have been doing all right. We were just about to make $6 million that year in total sales. But when you boil that down, now I've only got about a 6% margin here, and we had 3 people working at custom offsets. So we boil it down, we were talking about it yesterday, we definitely should not have bought a Lamborghini that day because it was about half of our profit. But what we believed in is if you can keep me motivated, I can bring this as high as I can possibly dream of, because when I'm motivated, I work pretty much 20 hours a day. And when I started this, I was at for the first 10, 11 hours, and then I would go home and work another 6 to 7 at night. I had friends that I've never met in my life, that 17, 18-year-old kids all over America, because they ran Instagram pages. And I knew that if they could give me a shout out, that 70,000 people would hear about me, and then they would come out and check out and load their vehicle to our website. So I was starting to create a following, and that's what we were able to do is start to add other products. So we've created all of this stuff now. And what I've done is I use the wheels and tires as my gateway drug. Them out to us, and now I'm offering suspension lift kits, wheel spacers, wheel accessories, wheel care products that we've actually white labeled as a custom offsets care kit. But we're working with Killer Wax out of California, who's one of the largest show wax dealers in the nation. And then we have our own light bars we source out of China and sell direct. And then this is a store I just rent to a guy, so he pays me cyber rent. And then when they purchase, he builds them headlights. So I have nothing to do with it. He just rents a spot on my website. Then we sell some underglow and a couple other products. Lowering kits, leveling kits, and a whole bunch of gear. By doing that, what I've been able to do is, rather than just selling the wheels and tires, which are super low margin, what I've done is I've added where they can throw on a set of spike lug nuts. So there's these lug nuts that are big old spikes. Everybody thinks they're really sweet right now. That has about 100% margins, and it's an add-on, and I ship that from my location. Then we give them a wheel shine kit, which has a 50% margin, and we give them a set of spike valve stem caps, which has a 30% margin. And what we've been able to do is take that wheel and tire sale and double the profitability of it just from the add-ons, because we're targeting the high margin items that are things they can tag on to that sale when they check out. So because of that, we've not only grown our top line, but we've also grown our bottom line. I give a lot of our success to how transparent we are. Everybody in my company, which we were 3 when I was here 2 years ago, we're 23 because we hired another one yesterday, and we're looking for about 23 more. We were in a 2,400 square foot facility when I was here last time. We bought a 6,000 square foot place 1 year ago next week, and we're totally outgrown of it. So now we're going to be building a 17,000, no, they talked me into 20,000 square foot facility right up Eisenhower here. And they tell me I'm going to move in Thanksgiving. I believe it when I see it.
All those people doing phone sales or what?
Nope. What we do, so what's going on in the world today is you don't have to sell if you can be a media company. So what we do is we're a community where people come out and they see who else is building their trucks. And the person that loaded that, when you comment underneath there, you're talking to that person. And you're like, so how much trimming was it? How bad was it? You know, was it scary? No, it wasn't that bad. So they come out and hang out on our website. 26,000 people every single day are on my website, hanging out and talking to each other. And then we make videos, we make how-to videos. We've made 425 videos in the last year. We're producing a video every single day, showing them how to install a lift kit, what the truck looks like when it's all done, a spotlight about it. Cool Truck Shit is a series we have where we just show them the up-and-coming truck stuff that's coming out. And we just educate, and don't ask for anything back. And it's gained so much confidence in the market that we're just good guys that want to be a part of this industry, that they then turn and buy from us because we also have low prices. So I've got 8 videographers and a graphic designer. I've turned into a marketing company, and most of my people do that. I have one that does social media full-time, 7 days a week. He'll answer 200 to 300 comments or questions a day between Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We just hit 7 million views on YouTube. We're having 1 million views a month right now. So I believe they're consuming 3.5 million minutes of me a month on YouTube. We've got 45,000 subscribers that have subscribed to our YouTube channel that get emailed every time we put out a video every day. Our Facebook is up to 130,000 likes, and we've never bought one. We pay for advertising, but we've never bought fake likes. And then on Instagram, I believe we're at 75,500 followers on Instagram. So my reach now is about 250,000 people before I spend money. I spend probably 1,000, depending on what I'm doing, a month on Facebook advertising. I can reach 250,000 people with a single ad for about $2. So now what we're doing is different things like Holiday down in Fond du Lac will have us build a truck that's a year or two old that they took on trade or bought, and then I'll make a video about it and they'll have it sold in about a week and a half because they'll say, hey, I just saw the video on custom offsets, I'd like to come up and get that truck they built. So now they're gaining from our social media and our reach.
So to get new people then, do you just go after the people who are posting all the time on your site?
I don't go after anybody. I don't ever sell.
No, I mean to get new employees.
Oh, new employees have to know each other. So I met Fuller because of some truck meets, and he knows Banker, who is one of his friends, and then my brother works there, my cousin works there, and then my cousin's buddy works there, and then a couple of his friends work there. So one of our rules is you have to be an enthusiast. We will not hire somebody that doesn't love custom wheels. If you come through our parking lot, it looks like a car show.
The people who are posting on your site all the time?
They just are because I own Google Images.
Okay.
So if you go on Google, this internet's a little slow, so I won't do that to you. If you go on Google and just Google Silverado lifted, it's going to be image after image with a watermark of custom offsets. So my business partner built the URLs and did all the SEO, and now we have 19,000 vehicles in our gallery with over 100,000 photos. So we've taken over Google Images. So if you're looking for what it's going to look like on a truck, you're going to end up at our website. So we don't even have to go find them anymore, but we used to. We used to post everywhere and tag everything and spend all night begging people to come load their vehicle. And
How do you get those now? The people who follow you are sending you pictures?
they just go on the site and click add my truck.
Oh, I see.
And it'll take them,
Pictures of their own truck.
Yep.
And they can do it on
it's about 3 or 4 pages and about 60 fields to fill in, but you can do it in about a minute and a half. So we've tried to do it all drop downs and easy selection to keep them moving. And we get, so this is my dashboard. This is one thing I want to show you. What I do is I've got a 24-hour rolling. So I know so far in the last 24 hours I've done in sales. I know that I did at my local shop, nothing on my brand new website, Fitment Inc. $10 in the spike lug nuts, $50 in shine kits, and lift kits, spacers, and then $6 in lighting. I know for my rolling 7 day, I'm running about here. For my rolling month, I'm up around 5 million, and I can see compared to April that I'm up on every single measure. So I look at that, it refreshes every time I log in. So I can look at that anytime, and so can everybody in our company. And then we went further and said, how about the vitals? What's vital to us? This tells me that I currently have 1,600 lift kits for sale on my website. So if there was a bug that wiped out one brand of lift kits, that would plummet, and I would know my website's not healthy. So this is just looking at the health of the website. You can see we have over 18,000 gallery ads, and the 9,000 of those trucks are lifted. 7,000 of those have the lift kit linked to it, where I'm selling them that lift kit that's on that truck. And then I can see shipping. They've got 33 items to ship yet today. They shipped 25 items yesterday, and they ship about 75 on average. So I know my shipping guy needs something to do today. Photos. So this is.
That's just your shipping. That isn't counting the guy who's
Yep.
drop shipping.
They're building that today. It's a link right now because they're going to build that for the guy. The guy realized they realized we're pretty good at building systems, so he had us build his entire purchase order and order fulfillment system. So this tells you that in the last 24 hours, we've had 43 people load their vehicle to our gallery. There's 39 more that need their photos cleaned up. We'll crop them and make those photos all look real nice. And there's 2 of them that have the photos cleaned up, but the specs need to be cleaned up. So I know that Justin will come in first thing this morning and clean up those photos, and then John is going to go ahead and clean up those specs, and then that number will go up. We're averaging around 1,100 to 1,200 people loading their vehicle every single month right now on a 30-day rolling. So we don't do anything to tell people to load their vehicles anymore. I used to beg them all night, one at a time. About 1 out of 50 would load their vehicle. So I'd spend 2 or 3 hours on my phone just begging people to load their vehicle every single night. Now it just happens because they know who we are. So then what we do is we display a lot of these metrics, but we roll it up to the big 5 on our board, and I update that every single day, and then I meet with the team once a week, and I tell them exactly where we're at, and then they allow me to hire more people. So when I was here last year, we were on pace and really confident that we should be able to do about $4 million in business. This year I'm on pace for $50 million, and then next year I want to do $80 million, and the following year. So some people have said, but won't you run out of market? Because how many people have big giant lifted trucks? And I said, yes, I'm getting there, because I can tell that I'm 8 times bigger than my next biggest competitor. So I knew it was time to leave the truck market and get into cars. So now we've launched fitmaninc.com, which is the same exact concept, but for cars. And the car market is about 5 times the size of the truck market. So now we can do another 50, 60, 70 million in cars. And so what I do is I tell these guys, don't sell anything. So I've now got a team that works on Fitment Inc. Make videos, educate people, have them load in the gallery, have them become really good friends. Don't sell them anything. We've sold 1 set of wheels and 1 t-shirt in 3 months. And I don't care because I don't want to sell anything till the end of summer. Because I don't want them to think I'm here to sell stuff. I want them to know that I'm here to help them fit their wheels on their car. And they're loading 350 vehicles a month after just 90 days. They've basically in 90 days gotten where it took me 1.5 years to get with custom offsets. I tried power sports. What I found with power sports is when people buy a side-by-side, it's like 18,000 bucks. They're financing the whole thing. And they're like, you know what, throw the wheels and tires on it too. They don't really mess with their power sports. Although the enthusiasts ride the thing versus vehicles, they mess with them constantly. I have customers that will buy a new set of wheels and tires every single spring because they want to be that truck at the Walmart meet this show season. That's my spiel. Thank you.
Sean, why don't you talk a little bit too, which is very, very unique in your style of leading your company, of how you empower your folks. Accountability and empowerment.
So we just, one of my colleagues from came in, who's always a mentor to me, came in and offered up that you need to have your mission, vision, values up on the wall because I can see them, but I want to be able to read them and know that you've locked them in with your team. And the biggest thing that we realized, because we did that the day after he left, is that we lead the wheel fitment revolution. We're revolutionizing how people figure out what wheels and tires fit their vehicle. But then there's a comment that says, on a badass life journey. I tell all my guys, I don't know if you're going to be here in 5 years. I don't know if I'm going to be here in 5 years. But I know you're going to be a better person in 5 years because of what we're going to do here. So we've gotten deep into teaching them some of the lean techniques and some of the leadership stuff. They know exactly what I make. If I want to give myself a raise, I let my entire team know that. I just brought on a VP of operations. They were in agreement that I could hire this guy. I paid him $300,000 a year. Everybody I know thinks I'm an idiot. But I wanted a guy that I'd been working with for a year that I knew could run my entire business. So I'm trying to put a plan in place where my team won't be left without a leader if something were to happen to me or if I get excited and go on to the next thing. So I tell them absolutely everything. So this building, we took a vote on the whole team, and unless of all of them were comfortable, I wasn't willing to do it until I could get them comfortable because their paycheck is at risk if we can't make rent. Their paycheck is at risk if the new guy doesn't cover his. So what I do is I tell them, I want to make $250,000 a year. So I told them, so we have to sell 1 million in wheels and tires. I put that up on the board and I said, that's not a goal, that's what we have to do because that's what I want to make. Once we hit that number, I'm not allowed to be mean to you guys. I have to be smiling, I have to be playing more ping pong. We have a rule, you have to play at least 1 game of ping pong, 1 game of foosball every single day. And I follow up every single day with the lead to make sure they're playing ping pong and foos. And that's our culture. And I told them yesterday, it was feeling a little robotic, so take the day and go do something fun. Don't get into this repetitive mode where you're at a job. Because our rule is you're spending so much time there, you can't let it become a job. It has to be a lifestyle. And then what we do is, so when we hire the new guy and hire 7 more guys and 8 more guys, is we keep reworking the number to now the number is 2 million. That's what we have to sell in order to get there. But when we found these other product lines with the high margins, now we also have that one up there. And we say, but if you do this, you only need 2 million. So I constantly work the numbers to them with them so that they understand that the goals aren't just something I made up because it'd be sweet if we did it. They have a purpose. So I've shared with them that I want to make $500,000 next year. So here's the new number and it's going to come from Fitment Inc. So I'm always sharing with them how we're going to get there because I want to make that amount of money. I haven't told them yet that I want to make $1 million by 2020. So we're going to save that for next week.
There was another interesting comment when I was there last is your encouragement as the people learn these skill sets and how to use social media and all of this leadership. Let's make it happen, focus, focus, focus. is you're encouraging them to go out and start their innovation and entrepreneurship. So it's really like an educational, hard knocks, survival of the fittest if you want to become, a Sean in your lifetime. It was an interesting revelation, and I watched the engagement like Parker and the crew when I was there. You can just see these people, and that's why the point of this work can't become your life, because these people are really, really engaged. I don't think...
Yeah, that's why Fuller made me my shirt. I had to wear it today. The worst thing you can do is nothing. I do not accept by Friday. Do it today. There just is no reason to not do it today, especially if we said we were going to do it. I won't take an excuse for why we can't do it today. Unless if it's something that you have to do this today, then you have to do that, then you have to, then it could be done by Friday because you're doing this today. But don't wait for anything ever. And that's, the corporate world drove me so insane waiting for meetings and stuff that I refuse to do that now that I get to be the boss.
What kind of incentive compensation plans do you have for your employees?
So I started at $10 an hour. Remember how I told you I left $185,000 for $20,000 a year? Every person starts at $10 an hour was my rule. The new guy wouldn't fall for that because he'd been in the industry for 20 years. So they all started at $10 an hour. Fuller started at $10 an hour. 90% of my team has started at $10 an hour. My goal is to get you to $15 an hour within 90 days. From there, you decide if you want to make $100,000 a year. I will put a plan in place with you if you want to make 6 figures. But it's on you. I tried to get them all there myself, and I learned that people that don't want to make $100,000 a year can never make $100,000 a year. You have to want it so bad that it's hard to breathe when you think about not making that money. And that's what I had to learn, because I tried to get my cousin there, and then I tried to get my brother there, and I tried to save the world and buying people cars so that they can get to work on time. And I realized that I can't do that. Now what I tell them is I have lead positions open for 18 to 21 an hour, and then I have manager positions always open at $100,000 a year. But you're going to do it for 6 months. Prove that you're good at it, and then I'm going to hand that job to you. When we interview somebody, they have to come for a full day, for 8 hours. And they have to just hang with the team and see the jobs, and then see what job fits their style the best and their strengths the best. And we move people around all the time because I don't want them doing something they don't want to do.
So the way to get to those higher numbers is to take on more responsibility.
Yep. I don't want to do anything. I mean, ideally, I would let them run custom offsets, and I would get to go and develop Fitment Inc., and then I'd let them run that, and then I'm going to go build something else, maybe power sports again, because that'd be fun to prove I can do it when I proved I couldn't do it. So I tell them all the time, you get my job. So all of them were given the opportunity to take this $300,000 a year job. None of them wanted it. None of them, were ready for it. So they agreed that I then can go hire somebody. And those are the open discussions we have. One of my top rules is you can tell me to fuck off if I'm wrong. You have to. I expect you to, because I'm wrong all the time. I've never done this before. I have no idea what I'm doing. I had a cool idea to make a website, and now I'm running a $40 million business. I don't know what I'm doing. I bought a Lamborghini when we were hardly making enough to pay rent. It's pretty obvious I don't know what I'm doing, but since then I've grown up a lot. I haven't bought anything in about 1.5 years because I've been focused on, a bigger shop and hiring like crazy because I want to go to 50 employees within the next 12 months.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, how old is your youngest employee and how old is the oldest, and what kind of educational background do you look for with them before you hire them?
I don't accept resumes. I don't ask them about their past. I just ask what they're good at and what they want to do the rest of their life. And then I have them meet with every team member and talk about what do they want out of life. Because that's all that matters, is that you want to do this and that you want to be here. So I don't require any educational background. I don't require any experience. I just require desire and ability. And we actually have them do a little test. Like I'll have them, if somebody's coming for an interview, to write letters, because I'm going to have this intern all summer that's going to write letters to Truckin' Magazine and all the big industry publications and tell them what we're doing. Because they haven't come to me, so I'm going to go to them. So what I asked them to do is watch this Dream Job video and write me a letter on Forbes magazine. Tell me why I should publish your video. And that was the test, because if they can't do it, they're not a good hire. So I don't ever care about their history, because that's the social media and the video. These guys, they're like born videographers or something. I don't know how they use this software. I couldn't even turn on, I can hardly hit the play button when they're making me watch a video before it goes out to the public. And then my oldest is 42, and that's the guy that we just picked up. I'm 38 years old, And then we've got our office manager's about my age. I stole her from, she was my executive assistant there. That always said I'm bored and I need more work. So when she came and visited me about every 90 days, I knew that I needed her to run all of HR, payroll, and everything else we throw at her. So we've got some range, but we definitely, all them punk kids call us grandpa, and we've,
What's your attrition rate? How many people that you hire actually last a year? Or
I've lost 2 people in my entire company's history, and I let both of them go. One of them wants to be a rapper, and he couldn't get over that. And then my stuff was suffering because he was touring around Wisconsin trying to be a rapper. And I basically told him, so my team has to fill out what they've accomplished every day. What's your plan to accomplish, and then what did you accomplish? And he couldn't do that. And I said, then you can't stay. I mean, you have 2 choices. You can be accountable to what you're getting done, or you can go work somewhere where you don't have to be accountable. Go back to being a rapper. I mean, that looked like a lot of fun, get drunk all the time and rap. So that's what he chose, and that's what he went and did. And then the other one, we tried to save him all we could, but our rule at Custom Offsets is you have to be positive. You absolutely are not allowed to be negative. You can be negative about a thing, get over it, move on. You cannot come into work negative, and you cannot leave work negative. This kid was on a 3-week negative streak, and he was making a lot of errors and way behind. I tried to work with him, so I had him tally up what he was shipping throughout the day to help him. He couldn't do it, and he wouldn't do it, and he kept telling me he's too busy to do it. So I gave him 1 warning, 2 warnings, and then I said, you got to beat the streets, man. Keep the car I bought you. Have a nice day. I'll help if you ever need me. But you don't fit here. You're negative.
Nobody's taken you up yet on following their own dream? Starting their own business?
I've hired a couple entrepreneurs. So he's had his own photography business. He was going to be a police officer, but he likes to break the law, so I told him that wasn't a good choice. So I stole Fuller. Fuller's going to run something. We've talked about doing a rental business, renting out exotic cars, power sports, boats, all the stuff that we'd like to have in our portfolio anyways. So might run that if we can figure out how to make money on it, or he's going to run something else. But what a lot of them are saying is, just let me do my job for a couple years. I'm only 19, 20, 21, 22. Let me learn from you. Let me learn how this works. Let me learn to be a leader. I know that I can get that job whenever I want it. So a couple have tried, and I let them do it for 90 days. And I said, you're not good at it. You don't follow up. You don't hold people accountable. You're uncomfortable telling them that that's not okay. You should go back and try this, or go and try this. But you didn't make it. And I'm fine saying that. At first, I thought it was going to be really difficult, but I could just use examples and say, you're not good at it. You're not a good leader. You could learn to be one, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. Because we have a management system where we go around, I go to the team lead every single day, and I have the same 15 questions I ask. How many YouTube views do we have? How many football games did we play yesterday? Are we having fun? Who on the team needs us the most today? I ask those questions every single day. They have the same sheet. We have a discussion about it. Go to the next team lead, and then our executive team meets at 11 for 20 minutes, standing meeting, and we do the same thing as an executive team. So they will be taught those same skills in 4 weeks, if they choose to. And that's my dream, and that's why we've started Dream Job. I get about 5 messages every week when we release Dream Job. So if you ever want to check it out, it's Dream Job on Facebook or YouTube, Dream Job with Sean Chartier. And we do an episode every single week. So today he's filming my entire day, and we'll boil that down into a 20-minute episode. And what that's done is people have said, I've thought about doing this. And I'll say, it's easy, let's start here. How much money do you want to make? And what do you want to do? And is it possible to make that money? Because you shouldn't quit your job and quit feeding your kids if your idea is stupid and you can't possibly make the money. And that gets rid of 90% of them, because it's a terrible idea. It's a dream. And I said, then step 2 is, if you could make that money, now prove it. Work 18 hours a day, get that second job making money, then you're allowed to think about quitting your job. And that's what I've tried to help people do, is see it's not this dream. There's actual steps to getting there. And you can't risk everything. You have to be thoughtful about it. So.
What is your biggest motivator? I hear money, but I also hear
Money.
this mentoring. I hear this, starting something new, the entrepreneur spirit. There's a lot of combinations there, but what really is your biggest motivator?
Me right now, it's money for sure. Always has been. Everybody else said money's not a motivator. They don't get me. Money is my motivator. I love money. I took my dad to Missouri hunting this year. First time on a big hunt. He shot 189 point Boone and Crockett buck, and he cried the entire day. That's why money. I bought my mom a condo.
See, but you take the money. Money is your motivator, but I think
The experience.
helping others
Yep.
is the secondary.
Yep.
To give back, 'cause I mean,
Yeah.
I hear giving back more than money.
To the right people. I tried giving back to people that didn't want it or they didn't know what to do with it, and that was a demotivator because they made really shitty decisions with that money, and then it wrecked everything and made it not good for me. It made it really negative. You know, I've tried this with my brother, and I've actually taken him from $18 an hour in bonuses where he could make $100,000. He's back down to $16 an hour, no bonuses, because he wouldn't do the job. And I said, I'm not handing this to you. And I was prepared to pay off all of his debt because he's got some serious banking issues. And I told him, nope, you went and bought a Harley while living with your mom at 28 years old. You're on your own, son. I'm not here to fix your life, but I do want to have those experiences. So I go to the condo with my mom every single year with my family. You know, it's the money for the experiences. But these guys know they're not getting over $15 an hour if they're not going to put in the effort. But they're all on unlimited overtime. Fuller works about 50 extra hours every 2 weeks because he loves making videos and he knows he can really rack up some cash and buy more race cars and boats that don't float. Too soon for that? And then we've started a Gold Star program. Somebody asked about motivation or compensation or something like that. I was in Florida, you know, hanging out with my mom drinking margaritas, and somebody made a smart ass comment, do I get a Gold Star for that? Because I'm always working on my phone when I'm even on vacation. And I said, fine, smart ass, we're starting a Gold Star program. So if you do something out of your job, if I'm the front salesman and I know something isn't working on the website and I take the initiative to email Ben, send him all the links and tell him what's not working so it gets fixed, I'll give you 5 Gold Stars. If we fire the shipping guy and we need somebody to jump in and my cousin John jumps in and does his job and the shipping guy's job and works 15 hours a day for 2 weeks while we hire, he got 150 Gold Stars. And then these Gold Stars can be cashed in for, we take all of the employees to SEMA every single year, which is Las Vegas' largest aftermarket show in the world. Full week-long trip to go see all of what the industry is bringing this year. And then this year in January, we took every team member and their significant other to Punta Cana for 5 days and 4 nights. And to hang out as a team and be a team, that's what they can use the Gold Stars for. So you choose these trips, or you can cash them in and get wheels and tires for your car so that you can be at the meets this summer.
How do you run your company while you're doing that? I have a small company too, and I thought about stuff like that, but I can't figure out how to keep it going while I'm not there.
Luckily, I've got enough kids in my group that aren't allowed to leave the country because
Hire some other.
so some of them it's you have to be there 6 months. So those guys had to stay. The new guys had to stay behind. Some will go for $5,000 in child support, so now they'll leave the country. So I got to keep 2 of them for that. I don't know what'll happen when everybody can go, but I'm just going to shut it down. It's not worth it. I'm going to communicate over social media. It's going to be a bit, but you have to remember that I've built a business that my lead times are all 2 weeks. So if I leave on a Thursday and come back on a Monday, I'm only missing 2 business days. And most of my team can work remote because we're all internet people. I can do my entire job from anywhere in the world with good internet. Beyond the outside of the leadership stuff, because
How's the current immigration policy impacting your business?
I haven't felt it.
It should.
My guys aren't allowed to leave the country, but they're already here.
So you said the closest competition is half your size, you said?
1/8.
1/8. So no one else in the world is doing this?
They were all doing it. Everybody was doing it. I'm just better at it. So they were selling wheels and tires.
Okay.
I don't sell wheels and tires. I help people fit wheels and tires in their vehicle. And then they buy from me because they trust me. Everybody else is out there selling. So there's a new site every single day I see advertisements come across Facebook, wheelfire.com, and they got a half-naked chick sitting there trying to sell you a wheel. People, they don't buy that. They buy me standing there talking about what I like about this wheel and the new finishes that are coming out, the different sizes that are available, and then I leave. And I say it's a moderate price range. I don't say come out to customoffsets.com. I don't care. Go buy it wherever you want. But then I put the price in the description. If they want to read, then they can snap it up in the link to go buy it.
So you create a tribe where you're
Yep.
using the users to sell your products for you.
Yep. Then I started a truck club. So I got some friends together and said, let's start a truck club. It's now national and up in Alaska and Canada. I have 150 members that are in my truck club that pay $200 a year in dues to wear Team Stance gear and be a part of Team Stance and have the Team Stance sticker on their windshield. And they also get points if they tell people to buy from us. If you choose Joe Schmo from Who Sent You, I give you points for getting that sale. So on a wheel and tire sale, I give you 1%. There's guys that have cashed in and gotten free sets of wheels and tires because my tribe of 150 is out there everywhere telling everybody that they have to buy from Custom Offsets. And don't forget to tell them I sent you. So we're just constantly innovating new ways to get more and more people behind us.
So how many countries do you cover?
Countries?
Yeah.
I try to stick to Canada and the US. I've shipped some stuff over to Saudi Arabia and Dubai, and it's a nightmare. 10 weeks later, they're all beat to hell and they can't get them off the port and they're charging them port fees, and it was too messy.
I heard that.
Real good.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.